What's up, guys? I'm Brooke.
And I'm Chelsea.
And a lot of you guys have been asking to hear my perspective or how it's affected me on my wife, Chelsea, being bipolar. And so this is what this video is. So as you guys know from our breakup video, Chelsea and I were in a serious relationship in 2010. It was only a few months into our relationships, not even a few months, like a month and a half or so into our relationship, when I remember exactly where I was when I got that call letting me know that Chelsea had been hospitalized. So I hadn't spoken to her in 3 or 4 days. When she got out, she let me know what the doctors said and letting her know that she was bipolar. I was so frantic and out of sorts from the idea of her being in the hospital in the first place that when she told me that, I don't think it really set in. It went in one ear and out the other. When Chelsea contacted me again in 2012, and in our talking, she was like, you remember I told you I was bipolar in 2011 or in 2010. It was like I was hearing it for the first time. I don't know why my mind did not let me retain that in 2010 when it had actually happened. That's when I did some reading on my own, and I encouraged Chelsea to really look into it and do some reading. In dealing with someone who has anxiety or bipolar or, any sort of mental illness, you think it's you think you're causing the problem. You feel like you're the reason why they're anxious or they're depressed, and you want to do everything on your end to make sure you're not the source of the problem. But it's tough because you just have to accept you're not the source. It's not your fault. They cannot help it. It has nothing to do with you. And so that idea alone took me years to really cope with, and I'm still working on that idea of, like, if Chelsea is not talkative or she's not in a good mood for a day to a week to a month, I just have to really, really understand in my head that it's not my fault and there's nothing I can do about it. When I say there's nothing I can't do about it, doesn't mean I can't be there for her or, just be in her presence, because I think that's what, and I don't want to speak for you, but I can imagine that's what someone in this situation would want, is that just the physicality of you being around is enough. You don't need to come in with a ton of advice on how to fix it, how to cope with it, because that's what I started to do in the beginning. I was like, well, maybe if you slept more or did this more or did that or think about it this way, it'll help. And no, long story short, I can't fix her. It's nothing to be fixed. It's only something to be understood and learning to work through. So I have to get over that. And I'm such a control freak and a fixer by nature that's very hard for me personally to do, but I work at it every single day. I've gotten better, I'd say, over the years, and I'm just keeping going at that and understanding I can't fix it. And it's weird because it's hard because you're trying to find that balance between giving them their space and leaving them alone, but still being attentive to their need and not ignoring the fact that they do have this mental illness. So I don't want to leave Chelsea alone for hours or days, but at the same time, I need to give her space. So again, that's something I'm still working on. I'm always in Chelsea's face, and it takes a lot for me to sit back and not be in her face. So it's something I'm still working on. The other thing too, and this is actually pretty common if you read articles, it's important to not let yourself fall into a depression along with them. You want to sympathize with them and meet them on their level, but also know that you are their rock and you're their strength, and you have to own your perception of the situation. The whole thing is just about your perspective, and if you have a strong perspective and a positive perspective, that can help. In Chelsea's last video, she mentioned she was seeing a therapist who really helped her channel how her emotions made her feel and really channel what it is what she was feeling. And outside of the therapist's office, I only try to amplify that. I try to really help Chelsea understand what it is she's feeling and why she's feeling a certain way. I'd say one thing that probably scares me the most about Chelsea being bipolar, it's I want her to be mentally healthy. I would hate for anything to happen to her or her to do something that she would regret. But at the same time, the thought that I would say scares me the most is the idea of someday her waking up and saying she doesn't want to be in a relationship anymore, or she doesn't want to keep doing this to me. That scares me because I don't want her to think that she's a burden on me. And I know you, baby. She would pull some shit like that. She would pull some shit to where if it meant she's hurting or she doesn't get to be with me, if it meant saving me and removing herself from the situation to do that, she'll do it. And I never want you to do that. I know what I'm getting myself into. I know what I signed up for. I'm ready and I can do this. So that's a big one for me. You can't do that to me, ever. You know, we talked about the depression side of Chelsea's bipolar, but as she mentioned in her last video, she also has the manic side, which is the upside, which is I want to do crazy things, and just all of a sudden she's got this energy and she wants to freaking climb a building and jump off of it, whatever it can be. Thankfully, she hasn't wanted to do that yet. But, you know, when she has her manic episodes and she just wants to do something crazy and wild, I go with it, you know? If you want to be crazy, I'm crazy with you. You know, she'll wake up one day and be like, I want to go to the zoo. And I'm like, let's go to the zoo. She's like, I want a tattoo. I'm like, I'm going to get one too. The only thing I think she regrets, babe, turn your head, this is her industrial piercing that we got in Portland. She was like, I want to get an industrial. And in my head, I was like, pretty sure this is a manic thing, but she'll learn the hard way. So I let her get it. Obviously, I wouldn't indulge things that were harmful to her or harmful to anybody in the manic stages, but most of the time so far, it's just been harmless bullshit that she wants to do, and I'm down. So again, since Chelsea is not on medication, you know, it is important for us to find alternative ways of mental healing and making sure that she's as content as she can be in her own mind. So I try to find creative outlets for her, you know, coloring. We have coloring books that we have, you know, we're always at Joann's or Michael's buying artsy stuff to paint something, or doing an art project on Sundays while watching Netflix. You know, this YouTube channel, this is a huge creative outlet for Chelsea, and to keep her mind off of it, and the love and support that she's gotten from you guys has been so great to her confidence, which is what I'm trying to work on at the end of the day. And the last thing, since she's not medicated, that we try to really enforce is strong communication. And no matter what mental illness you or your significant other might be dealing with, communication is key. I know it's not easy to always talk about how you're feeling, because at the end of the day, not a lot of people will understand what you're going through, but that doesn't take away from the therapeutic process of just talking and someone just hearing you. And again, when she's talking to me, I'm trying to work on not always having a response or a way to fix it when she's talking to me, and just I'm learning to just try to listen, because that's one of the things I need to work on in every aspect of my life, is listening better. When you are confessing dark things that go on in your mind, it's hard to do that to your wife or someone that you love, because you don't want them to judge you or think that it's progressing, or thinking that you're going to hurt yourself, or basically just letting them worry in general. So, you know, I know there are moments when Chelsea has a difficult time opening up to me, because I'm her wife and I do care, and it's hard to take that unbiased thing out, you know, that biased thing out of the situation. So what we've done as an alternative to that is created a alter ego for myself, a persona called Best Friend Brooke. And Best Friend Brooke is someone who comes around when Chelsea needs to talk to someone who's not her wife. So she'll text me today and be like, hey babe, I'll need to talk to Best Friend Brooke later when we get home. And I'm like, great. So that's my cue to mentally prepare myself to not be biased going into this conversation. So we'll get home and I'll say, hey Chelsea, it's Best Friend Brooke here. What's going on in your mind? And she'll talk, and you know, she'll talk to me as if I was her best friend and tell me how she's worried Brooke will react, and she's worried to tell Brooke, and it's her way of telling Brooke, but you know, she's not telling Brooke. It's our own weird thing, but it works, and it really helps her communicate. So frequent communication, even if you don't feel like it, really push yourself, because at the end of the day, as hard as it is for you as well, it is hard for your significant others or your family members or your friends as well. So if you can give them any insight into how you're feeling or what you're thinking, it soothes them and it makes them feel better. So that's what I got. Thank you guys for, first of all, supporting Chelsea's first video so much. It was amazing that the Huffington Post picked it up. And we appreciate all the feedback, and we hope that this is helpful and insightful to anybody going through mental illness or knows anybody with mental illness. Please share your story with us in the comments below. Make sure to give this a thumbs up, give us a like on Facebook, and thank you. You guys have done great. And cheers to over 1,000 subscribers.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Literally, that warms my heart that we were touching that many people. So, yeah, we hope to keep it up, and thank you so much. Bye.
You did so good
in this video.
Yeah.